Hi, this is Charles Kelly. How you doing? I'm here in London today. Just had a coffee and a wrap at Pret a Manger here in Great Portland Street. In fact, I was the beneficiary of the Help Out to Eat Out or Eat Out to Help Out scheme, which gives you a discount on meals if you eat them inside. So if you go into a Pret a Manger or a Starbucks and they say, are you eating here or outside? And you say outside, you'll pay £6. And I'm eating inside, I'm eating on the tables outside, and I got it for £3. So yeah, it's great. But it's not really free, is it? Because I'm going to pay for it in my taxes somehow. I suppose it's free if you're a tourist, and it encourages people. And that runs from Monday to Wednesdays at participating restaurants. Most of the big chains are participating. And today we heard that gold has gone through the $2,000 mark. This is quite significant, and it comes as people, I think, are worried about the 20 trillion that's been spent around the world to stimulate the economy, and how that will affect the price of the value of their currency, inflation-wise, that is. And obviously when that money's been pumped in, it's got to be paid for somehow, and it does devalue the money that you've got in your pocket and the spending power. Because if you just keep printing money, eventually it will lead to inflation. So that's one of the reasons people are worried, and also because of low interest rates. They're just, where do you put your money at the moment? Where is safe? And gold and silver comes across as a bit of a safe haven. Now, one warning about buying things like gold and silver: you've got to know what you're doing. There's various ways of buying gold. You can buy gold shares, you can buy gold ETFs, you can buy physical gold. You obviously need to store it, and if you buy a lot of gold, you don't want to have it lying around in the house. You might need to get a bank safe deposit box, which could cost you £30 or £40 a month, especially if you buy silver, because silver is cheaper. So an ounce, equivalent price-wise of silver, it's about 70 times cheaper. So if you spend the same amount on silver, you'll get a lot more bulky metal in your hand, and you need to store that and lift it and carry it. So it's not easy. Also, the markup on silver is quite high. When you buy a silver coin as opposed to a gold coin, I mean, you can buy a silver coin for, say, £20, whereas a gold coin would cost £1,500 or £1,400. But there is a markup issue on it, because it costs similar amount to produce the coin. So when you're buying it, there's a difference between what you're buying it for and the real value. In other words, there's a bid and offer spread of this coin that has effect on the value. And I'll give you an example of how this affects things, because last year around about September I bought not a huge amount, but I bought some silver coins, Silver Britannia coins, and just put them away. And today silver's apparently gone up by 50 odd % in the last year, and yet if I tried to sell them back to the same company I bought them for, do you know what I'd get for them? Less. I'd actually get less back than I paid for them, even though silver's gone up by 52%. Now what does that tell you? There's a lot of profit margin going on there. There's obviously the cost of manufacturing, but there's the profit margin of the gold and silver dealers, the bullion dealers. So you've got to just be careful on that. But definitely gold has done better, and gold has done quite well in the last year, for me anyway, and people are piling their money in. Warren Buffett has a view on gold. He says something like, you have to employ a whole bunch of people to get it out of the ground, dig it out of the ground, and then you have to employ people to store it in the ground, and it doesn't have any value, it doesn't provide any income, it doesn't provide any interest. So he's not a big believer in gold, but for a lot of small investors, they like to have a hedge in gold, because they say that gold, if you go back hundreds of years, that the buying power of gold is still the same. It is kept pace with the value of gold, whereas say $1 might have been equivalent to one X amount of gold, or £1 might have been equivalent to X amount of gold. You know, that pound over the years has devalued enormously. I mean, think of, even in my lifetime, what you could do with a pound when you, I don't want to sound old here, but you could go out for a night drinking on a pound in the 70s. But now it just doesn't even buy one drink. Whereas if I'd use that pound to buy a piece of gold, a small sovereign coin or something like that, I mean, I might not have got it for £1, but I could have bought a half sovereign, then the spending power of that half sovereign or the gold coin would be the same now, if not maybe more. So that's why people want to put their money into things like gold and precious metals, and also it is a bit less volatile. Having said that, it can go down as well. You know, when you buy it, it doesn't necessarily keep going up and up and up forever. It can change. Things can. The price of gold has gone up by 30% this year, which meant that it wasn't that high for a long time. And after the last financial crisis, there was a rally on gold, and then it sort of went back into the doldrums, really. So you can't just say, well, if I buy gold today at 2,000, it will automatically go up. But as a long-term hedge, it's not a bad idea to have some money in gold just tucked away, but I wouldn't put your life savings into gold. As always, I don't give you financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You've got to seek that yourself. But I'm just giving money tips for your entertainment purposes. That's just to cover my backside, because I don't want people to go rushing out and buying gold and say, well, I told you to buy gold, because I'm not telling you that. I'm just saying I think it's a good idea for me to have a small amount of money in gold, and it can always be converted fairly easily to currency. And in some countries, the currency is just going through the floor. You know, Zimbabwe's got a problem at the moment, and lots of countries are really going down the pan. Now, you all heard of Richard Branson, haven't you? The billionaire. Everyone talks about him, how he's done so well. He's had a few failures over the years. He's had things like Virgin Cola, Virgin Vodka. Some of the Virgin stores that he had to be put into administration. But overall, he's had a sort of 50-year run of success, hasn't he? Everything he's touched has, to pardon the pun, turned to gold. And it's just been one thing after the other. He's just made more and more money. But that has kind of come to an end with the airline. His airline now has gone into bankruptcy in America, into Chapter 15, which allows foreign companies to protect their assets in America from creditors. So this effectively means it's a halfway house towards winding the company up. If they can agree this restructuring deal, and we talked about a restructuring deal with Pizza Express yesterday, if they can agree this restructuring deal, then it will save the company. But obviously thousands of jobs have already gone. He's closed down his hub at Gatwick. 3,000 jobs have already gone in the UK. And but I think they will save the company. The business, he said, is a sound business. It's still a viable business. And that's what this process is all about. A company goes into administration, puts everything on hold, protects the company from its creditors, because otherwise the creditors might just come in and seize assets and sell it off and just break it up to get their money back. This way it keeps the company afloat, but it does wipe out some of the money owed to people. So when they say restructuring, they really mean, we want to pay you less than we owe you, or we want to take longer to pay you, or whatever. So we'll have to see how that pans out. I imagine there's a lot of debt there. I imagine that the planes are on leases, and they said they're going to run out of money next month because the travel industry has just come to a halt. In fact, Branson is also putting in 200 million of his own money, which I believe they said he remortgaged his Necker Island. So he is still putting his money where his mouth is. But when you hear that people are billionaires, you often hear this billionaire, and he's had a lot of bad press, bad negative comments in the press and on social media because he asked the British government to help bail him out. And a lot of people were saying, oh, he's a billionaire, let him use his own money. He doesn't even pay any tax in the UK, so sod him, let him drown or put his own money in. Well, I felt that was a bit unfair because he does pay tax in this country. He may not pay income tax, but he pays a lot of tax in corporate tax, and he pays PAYE for thousands of people. So I felt it was a bit unfair. And eventually the government refused to help him. He was only asking for a loan, I think, and now that's then led to this bankruptcy situation. So maybe the government was right not to back him, I don't know. But he is putting some of his own money in, and he only owns half the company, by the way, 51%. I believe the rest is owned by Delta Airlines, and Delta could be in trouble themselves. All the airlines and companies like Boeing, Airbus, and these builders are all, I believe, in trouble. So the sooner we get the travel industry back up and running, the better, because it does account for millions of jobs. And I'm looking around London today. There's hardly any tourists around. I mean, I don't see a lot of people around here. It's just really dead at the moment. Yeah, there's a few people about, as you can see, workers. There's a few people there at pubs. There's a Pizza Express branch over there that seems to be still open. But in general, it's very, very quiet, London. Normally you just can't move for tourists. So we need to get this thing back up and running as soon as possible. So thanks for listening. This is Charles Kelly, bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, invest, accumulate, and enjoy more money. Have a great day wherever you are, and stay safe, obviously.